On today's episode of That Was Us, we'll be discussing 108 Pilgrim Rick, air date 11/22/16. An unforeseen detour interrupts Jack, Rebecca, and the kids' trip to their traditional Thanksgiving dinner. Kate makes life-altering decisions. Olivia accompanies Kevin to Randall's house, and Randall learns a heartbreaking secret.
Here's a secret they don't tell you about growing up. Summer is expensive.
Tell me about it. I remember trying to go get tickets to Six Flags growing up in St. Louis, Missouri, or going to see plays at the Muni, or just going to see any kind of show, trying to fill up your days with different kinds of activities, and these things all usually cost some money.
Yeah,
we have to save up year-round to take a family trip to Disneyland.
There you go. That's real
Ain't
talk.
that the truth?
Well, listen, a Chime checking account helps you reach your financial goals while still enjoying your summer. Take back your finances with features like fee-free overdraft up to $200 with SpotMe, or getting paid up to 2 days early on direct deposits.
Chime has spotted members over $20 billion already, and it is super easy to set up. Just set up a direct deposit to your Chime account, and after your first payment of $200 or more, Chime will notify you to enroll in SpotMe. You'll get a debit card, get spotted when you receive your balance, and your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to your limit when you exceed your balance.
And Chime never charges SpotMe fees or interest just for getting spotted. And you can get a boost when you refer your friends.
Live it up this summer and make progress towards your financial goals with Chime. Open your account in minutes at chime.com/thatwasus. That's chime.com/thatwasus. Chime feels like progress.
Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details.
I say good morning, lady and gentlemen.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
You were saying, Chris, just off camera, these episodes start to hit a little different.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to
I mean, it was just, first of all, it was good to see Thanksgiving Randall.
Thank you.
Forgot about Thanksgiving Randall.
Thanksgiving Randall is one of my favorite things in the world.
I found it, in rewatching it, I found it such a charming choice for the writers. Because you'd think it would be Christmas Randall. Right. Like if somebody asked you ahead of time.
Yeah, that feels like the more traditional, obvious
you know what
choice.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
What holiday does he love? And Thanksgiving is way better.
Thanksgiving is his
Focused
jam.
on gratitude, focused on family.
But the way they pull it all together.
Yeah.
My question is, though, for someone who loves Thanksgiving so much, why is Randall not like a bit more of a prepper? Do you know what I mean? Not like a prepper, but like, why isn't he like the day before? I'm like, oh, he just sets his alarm early on Thanksgiving Day. I'm like, I would have thought he had stuff in the fridge already, like half
you think there'd be a little bit more pre-planning that goes into it. But I think the spontaneity of the day, I think it happening on the day means something too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And I feel like I had kind of forgotten, and going back and watching these episodes, I'm with you, Chris. I think it hits different as a parent now.
Yeah.
I had a long conversation with my husband, which we'll get into after 109. But,
oh, goodness.
But I love that, like, wow, we really discover all of the traditions that stem from this one particular Thanksgiving that goes awry for the Pearsons. And just how like broadly it sort of influenced the family for years to come.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
The quote unquote worst Thanksgiving is the one that creates all of the closeness and the tradition and the positive memories, which I think that's true for my life too.
Really?
Yeah. I think so.
Wow.
I think I don't mean like the horrible experiences are the things that I love the most. What I mean is like when unexpected things happen.
Yeah.
And you thought you knew how you wanted things to go, but the universe says, no, it's going this way, and it's going to be much more enjoyable if you
can make the pivot.
If you just allow it and go with the flow.
I mean, I feel like Jack Pearson really is the hero, and he took that Dr. K advice that he got when his kids were born, and was like, you know what? If you give me a lemon, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna add a little sugar to this joint.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a little vanilla in there. We're gonna mix it up with some ice, and we're gonna turn it into something nice.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like one of his more, first like heroic moments in a way. I was like, oh, Super Dad
It's
is
pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is making it all
Yeah.
work, because I think we open this episode and recognize just how stressful Thanksgiving is for Rebecca.
Let's start
Yeah.
there. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We start with Rebecca making this cranberry sauce. Is that
Speaking
what-
of preparing on the day.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
But her cranberries, to your credit,
Yeah.
stuff looked nice.
Yeah.
Like
I was like,
I'm
the
about
red
to
wine.
I don't even
Interesting.
like cranberry sauce that much,
Same.
but I was looking at it, I was like, I would tear
Orange
that up.
zest. Ginger.
Some orange zest, some red wine.
Yeah.
I was like, this is an interesting
Turns out
recipe.
she was just making sangria.
Yeah. Totally.
Edible with a little bit of a chew
that you
to
can
it.
spoon.
Yeah, there you go.
Spoonable sangria.
It led me to my first question, honestly. Are you a cook?
I'm not.
You know what's funny? I'm not either.
Thank God for editing. That's what I think when I watch those sequences. I'm like, oh, wow, they managed to make
Yeah.
it look like I knew what I was doing when
Yeah.
truly I did. Like,
Yeah.
literally, when the props department has to walk me through every single step.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's how I
just
feel
the
about
minutia.
90% of my acting career.
Totally.
It's just like, wow, they really made it look
They made us look
Like
like,
you knew
we
what you
knew
were doing.
what we were doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you, editors. We
Yeah.
appreciate you.
So much.
And then Jack talks about how he was hoping that one day, like after his parents passed away, that they start to form their own tradition. So he sort of
Yeah.
plants that
That
seed
yeah.
right there, right?
Foreshadowing.
Right.
You also now have two boys. They're still young though, because it's the two boys that run into each other that knock stuff over.
Yeah.
What kind of they're not rambunctious yet, are
They're
they?
not quite there
They're
yet.
still
Yeah,
teeny
18
tiny.
months and 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I see the makings of it, though,
Sure.
because they're close
yeah.
enough in age where they're almost,
Yeah.
they're definitely going to have that
Yeah.
kind of relationship.
It gets to a place with my two boys when they walk into the kitchen and I have something close, I just hold it up and I hold one arm out
Yep.
just to keep them away from
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, keep things
You know,
safe.
because I was like, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm giving them the Heisman. Just
Yeah.
it's not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Randall has that first thing about I don't like going there to his grandparents'
Yeah.
house because they take the pictures and then they go, okay,
Now
okay,
just the twins.
let's get one with just the twins.
Sure.
Right? And then we have this note in our producer notes that's saying that like how much our kids pick up on,
Mm-hmm.
even though we think that like innocuous things are happening and they may not be paying attention,
Sure.
they absorb everything.
Right.
Yeah, and if we've learned anything about Randall, he is a highly sensitive human as well.
Yeah.
So of any of the children, he's going to absorb what's happening around him.
And I think it's interesting that so far, my kids are very young, but the things that I think are going to affect them are just gone to the wind.
Really?
And little things like, okay, my son split his eye open.
Yeah.
He had to have his face stitched up. We had to hold him down. 4 adults had to hold him down while they, while a 3-year-old had his eyebrow stitched up.
Yeah.
I thought, well, here we go. This is nightmares for a month. The next day, I'm like, I need to like approach this with him and like just be like, is there anything you want to talk about? Like, how are you feeling about?
Sure.
Not a memory. Not a memory.
On to the next.
Yeah. I was like, at the hospital when we got the stitches, was that scary? And he just blank face, like, well, we got to watch all those cartoons at the hospital. Is that what you're talking about? Like, no. But then other little tiny things about
Yeah.
when I like yelled, not at him, but like
Ooh.
just at what? Hey, remember when you did that? Why did you do that? And it was like a year ago.
Sure.
Yeah.
Buddy, you were 2.
Yeah.
Like you were nonverbal.
memory. Yeah.
It's the emotional impact
Yeah.
that sort of like evokes the trauma. Like there could be a physical thing that happens, but it's the emotional trigger. So I think from Barry's like, oh, I had to get a stitch.
Yeah.
Like nobody was doing anything wrong.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
Right.
that had to happen.
Right.
Sure.
I don't know if you had to yell at me.
It wasn't even at him. It was
wasn't
just
at
like
him.
I was like yelling to get someone's attention.
Yeah.
But it startled him.
Right.
And Dad's voice sounded different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of the same with this episode and traditions. Like the things, like if you tried to make any of these things traditions,
No.
wouldn't stick. But because of how it all unfolds,
Yeah.
generations and generations will eat hot dogs
So
wrapped in cheese and rolled in
with
crackers.
with the saltines. Let's continue with that storyline though,
Yeah.
because they get in the car, they're on their way. What's a song that we're playing in the car?
You Can Call Me Out.
Call
from
Me
Paul
Out,
Simon.
baby. Jamming on the one. Thank you that we got the rights to it. Sometimes you try to get the
I
rights
was
to
like,
these songs.
Grayson, that feels like it was pricey, but
This was part of like the first thing that got me into this episode. The next one was like my mom's car was Paul Simon all the time.
oh
it
wow.
All day, she had one group of CDs and it was a 3-disc set of like Paul Simon's greatest hits. So like as soon as Paul Simon hits, I go to a different age. Yeah.
I love that.
They're driving in the car.
To Rebecca's parents. We've already sort of gotten an inkling too that there is a contentious relationship between her and her parents.
Yeah, which we build out a little bit later.
We do, for sure.
Which is really cool to see, because who plays your mom? It's
Elizabeth Perkins.
Perkins.
Yes.
Killer.
Love.
And your dad, Matheson?
Yes.
Oh, God, this is great stuff.
Yeah.
We'll catch up.
Yeah.
Things to come. But they're driving and like, was it just a swerve? What happened? You hit a bump?
A tire blew out.
Tire blows out. Man, have you guys had this ever happen?
Knock on wood, no.
Yeah.
No.
I've had it happen.
Yeah.
And it is freaky. My wife was in the car. This is on the highway. She was swerving. She hit the median,
Oof.
then careened from the median all the way over to the other side of the
God.
highway without getting hit again. And like everybody just has a collective sort of like moment. And I got kudos to the kids in the back seat because the look on their face, that's it.
That's the look.
They're like, you guys okay? They're like,
We don't know. Yeah.
And especially in a 1990 Grand Wagoneer.
yeah.
Like that thing barely drives on all 4 tires, let
Yeah.
alone with one blown out.
There's no airbags.
No.
Barely seatbelts.
Yeah.
Back in the day when like you just like, my favorite move, this would remind me, and this isn't not applicable to this particular thing, but if I'm in the front seat with my mom, have you guys all experienced this move where she has to hit the brakes fast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's my absolute favorite.
It only happens with people who were alive when
Seatbelts were legal.
before shoulder harnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it doesn't happen.
It doesn't
because
happen as much. I will every once
was
in a
a
while
lap
with
belt.
Andrew because he
Yeah.
gets to sit in the front seat now. I'll still like do it, and I was like, "Oh, you're fine." Like, all right. But it is instinctive.
That would just break my arm.
I remember the children were always confused when we would get in some of these older model vehicles because they would go to get the shoulder strap and it's like, oh no, it's just a lap belt, guys.
Yeah.
And they're sort of like, what?
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Off to grandma's
I don't
house.
understand
You just be
this.
flipping.
It doesn't compute. like, oh, this is
Fold
my
it in
like
half.
carpool life going to school as a kid. Yeah.
So then we have, we got to hike.
We got to hike.
How far did we have to walk?
3.4 miles.
Come on now, Mama. I knew you knew.
Yeah.
They go on this hike to get to whatever lodge, or they're trying to get the tow truck
Yeah.
for the car.
Sure.
Hats off to casting, my man. In the
Hats off to casting. Hats off to every. This is when the episode turns horror movie.
Yeah.
Like the look of it changes, the tone of it changes, the lighting is
You're like, is it Halloween or Thanksgiving?
like it is. It is spooky.
It gets creepy, yeah.
My man's like, you're not gonna get a tow truck today. He's like, why not? He's like, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And so it's like, all right, we got to pivot.
Yeah.
Mom goes to the phone. Is this when you go to the phone to call?
Yes.
Let them know what's going on?
Yeah.
And then you're like, you know what? We're
not
not
coming.
going. They've already told you, the kids have told you in the hike, right? Listen, anytime we go there, you know, grandparents are sort of wilding out. And they said, it's not just them. And they sort of be like, it's you too, Mom.
Yeah.
Like your voice goes to this weird place.
You're
right?
aggravated.
Yeah, and you're like, what are you talking about? And then you get on the phone, hats off to Mandy Moore, on the phone talking to her mom, and you hear the voice go up, and you're like,
You know what? A shift has occurred.
You're like, you know, I'm not going to do this to my kids anymore, right?
No.
And Jack is listening. He's like, what's up? And she's like, I guess we're doing something else. We got to go to this. What's the name of the lodge? I can't remember the name.
Pinewood Lodge. or
Pinewood
something.
Lodge,
Yeah.
something like that. And he's so happy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, great.
Great.
Got my
make it work.
wish.
It's going to be wonderful.
It's
make it
just
work.
our
It's gonna-
Thanksgiving now.
We're going to make it work. And you get there.
And then the casting department shows up again.
Dude, my man who plays Pilgrim Rick, I was like, you could not have come up with a better choice. This dude
I know.
was so committed.
Yeah.
So committed.
And the thing is, if he wasn't committed, then Milo wouldn't have had anything to play off
Right.
of. You know what
Right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like, this dude was great. Oh, he's like, welcome to Pilgrim Rick. And there's a whole thing. And
Yes.
it's like, oh, it's a bit. He's doing
He's doing a bit. Maybe a question. Is he doing a bit? This guy, you show up in July. This guy's still in the Pilgrim hat.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
So then we go from there. We get to the cabin. And it's like, okay, things are not great, right?
There's no food options.
No food options.
The kids are cranky.
Furnace is on and stuck on, can't get it off, what have you. So Jack's like, let me go see if I can find somebody from maintenance, what have you, see if we can fix this thing. Get a knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody's like, hey, hello, what's up? What's going on? Like, it's Pilgrim Rick. And she's like, oh, we're okay, Pilgrim.
Yeah, we're good. We don't need you to come in here and fix the furnace.
He does a pretty good impersonation of him,
He does
too.
a great impersonation of it. Pilgrim Rick. And like, you know what, bro? You stay out.
Here to fix your furnace.
Things are about as bad as they can be. I'm coming in. And it's such, dude, I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, the just sort of sense of warmth and joy of seeing this man refuse to let it go bad for his family.
Right.
He just refused.
Yeah.
Right? He comes back with Police Academy 3, and wisely, Rebecca's like, is this good for the kids? It's like, this between this and 9.5 weeks, we go with the Police Academy.
This was another, like, of my own childhood touchstones.
Are you
with
serious?
The Police Academy movies.
Police Academy movies are pretty great.
They are not.
I don't know if they hold up. Did they not hold up?
I mean,
they were great when I was a kid.
Of course. Because we should not have been watching them.
They should not.
They are
Totally inappropriate.
Totally inappropriate.
We watched a lot of risque stuff.
But it was another touch point for me. I was like, okay, Paul Simon hits, and then Police Academy 3. I forgot about Police Academy 3. It was another like kickback to you make do with what you have.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Yeah. And you know, he comes back with sticks, and we're going to put the dogs on the sticks, and it became fun for the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
We get to stick the hot dogs
like, what's
into
a furnace?
the furnace.
First of all, what's a furnace? Wait, this room is heated by open flame? There's a gas
component
what
that
is
we're
this,
sleeping?
1864? Like, it used to be a metal box on the wall with an open flame on the bottom.
Baby. This is how we do at Pinewood, whatever.
Yeah.
We have an open flame.
Yeah.
And we're going to roll it in the cheese, and we're going to coat it in the crackers, and it becomes a thing, right?
Yeah.
And the last thing we see, I don't want to miss anything, but like just that moment of them all lying in bed together and Randall being hugged up by his mom saying like, I changed my mind about Thanksgiving. Oh my God. Like, I want it to be exactly like this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. That was...
Now listen, I'm not Teflon yet. So like the show always moved me. It's still, I've done this already. Like, why am I still crying?
Yeah, why am I still feeling all of this?
Lord have mercy. It was so beautiful.
It's beautiful. It really is. And I love the tradition too of the Kate's sweater was starting to unravel, her itchy sweater.
Yeah.
And Rebecca sort of came up with the idea of like, let's go around in like a circle and talk about what we're thankful for.
And destroy the sweater.
Let's destroy the sweater.
She's been itching in this sweater.
Yeah.
Grandma made
The
this awful sweater.
episode.
Yeah.
The metaphor, of grandma's there. You know what we'll do with grandma's sweater? Slowly unravel it with our gratitude.
This is a moment where I think in my mind as an actor, have the producers come to me and told, am I getting written off this show?
When I read, I don't think this is going to work. Toby said, what do you mean? And Chris Sullivan reads, I'm sorry, what do you mean?
That's the end of Toby
What do you
and
mean
Kate?
this won't work? I think it'll work great. What does Toby have to change?
Do I
Toby
need
or Chris? I'll do whatever.
I don't care.
whatever you need? You need me to tap.
I will diet. I will diet. He'll diet. Chris Sullivan will make Toby diet. No, it was,
But what?
don't think I wasn't worried.
I'm saying, like, did anybody come to you beforehand? No, you're just like,
But-
okay, so this is it.
So you
Also-
trusted.
Trust, I don't know. Like
He
I
didn't
said,
have a contract.
remember,
Oh, that's
I was on a
right.
1-year contract.
He's on a 1-year contract.
But also, first table read, first TV, like I didn't know how any of this worked. I'd heard stories about people
So
being
you're like, oh, this is how it happens.
And then my character got shot, and that was it. Like, and I was like, oh, here we go.
Just somebody who's been there It usually happens either at that episode or an episode before. They'll come up to you and be like, hey, man, I just want you to know you've done a great job. We really appreciated everything you've done on this. We got sweeps coming up or whatnot. And so somebody's kind of got to go. And it's going to be your character.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, cool.
Obviously.
Totally.
Yeah,
I
of course,
get that.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Totally. My pleasure.
I love that.
My.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
I had so much fun, you guys.
Thank you
Oh
for
my
the
God.
opportunity. Oh my God.
Yeah. If anybody wants to know about the life of an actor, whenever anyone in a position of power comes to you and says, hey, I got to say, you're doing a great job. What goes through our head is not, wow, I've been doing a great job. It's,
The other shoe.
okay,
Yeah.
but you're going to have to recast?
Yeah.
Or, wait,
Something
what?
bad's about to come out of
Something
their mouth.
bad is about to go down.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you have this conversation with Kate. And this is also one of these moments where I can't wait till Chrissy comes
Me
on.
too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
Because everything with Chrissy, it's just on the surface.
That was in
Yeah.
my notes. I was like, she has immediate access.
Her like trying to catch her breath, to
Yeah.
retain control of the conversation. Yeah, the breath like
Yeah.
was so real.
Yeah.
And like that, and such an interesting choice because it's obviously what someone would perhaps do in the moment
Absolutely.
in
Right.
real life. But like normally as an actor,
Sure.
like that's not necessarily the route you would take it.
Right.
It was so beautiful and it really grounded you in the moment of like, oh, this is such a conflicted person. This is someone who like clearly loves this person she's partnered with and is so lost and just doesn't know what to do. And this just feels like
Something has to change.
something has to change. And so
Yeah.
like this is the easiest thing to do, or this feels like the obvious thing to do,
Yeah.
or the self-sabotagey thing to do,
Yeah.
like all of that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I can't wait to have her on so we can get into all
We
of this.
love you, Chrissy Metz.
Yes.
More That Was Us after these words from our sponsors. With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets.
With Mint Mobile, you will never have to worry about gotchas or hidden fees ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it.
It's that easy.
We have unlimited minutes with our emotional support hotline, so we're able to call folks back using our Mint Mobile plan, and it's fantastic.
It makes
It's so
us
nice
very
not
happy.
to have the stress of worrying about having to count down the clock.
Right. And talk to them for way too long. They're like, okay, I have to go now. I'm like, no, we can
No,
talk
we're
for...
still
We can keep chatting.
talk
We can
more.
chat unlimited.
Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. That's less than I spend when I go to a coffee shop with my wife.
Keep your phone, keep your contacts, and enjoy 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month when you start with Mint Mobile. Every plan comes with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. So setup has truly never been easier.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/TWU. That's mintmobile.com/TWU. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/TWU.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Ever struggle to find that perfect shampoo and conditioner that truly understands your hair? It often feels like the hair care industry expects one solution to fit all, doesn't it?
For all of your hair care needs, we are excited to introduce our brand new sponsor, Way.
Have you guys smelled Way? It's incredible. They have a plethora of all kinds of different shampoos and conditioners and styling products for every different hair need out there.
Excellent.
Also, they have body stuff. I have tried their body care. They have a delicious scrub, I believe, in a St. Bart scent.
The body stuff is where I spend more of my time since the hair care
I know this is hair care, and the
a
hair
bit
care
behind
is
my-
incredible,
behind me,
but
yeah.
don't sleep on the body stuff
I do
as well.
smell
the
Mandy
body
Moore's hair
products.
sometimes, and it
Delightful.
smells nice.
Thank you.
Way doesn't just clean, it caters. And wow, does it smell incredible. With scents like Melrose Place, like Mandy Moore just said, and St. Bart's, Way doesn't just provide great hair, but also has you smelling fresh.
So whether your hair cries out for body and bounce or thirsts for a deep, nourishing touch, there is a solution for your hair type. Not sure where to start? Well, Way makes it really simple. Visit their website, take the quick hair quiz, and discover products designed to elevate your hair health to its peak. Embark on a journey to hair that is not only healthier, but also decadently scented with Way.
You think you might not know this company, but you have seen their advertisements because Way is spelled O-U-A-I. And you're thinking, no way. And I'm saying, yes, Way. That is how you spell it. Wash your way to healthier hair with shampoos and conditioners made just for you. Go to THEOUAI.com and use code TWU for 15% off your entire purchase. That was a lot of letters, so I will say it again. That's THEOUAI.com, code TWU.
Backtracking just a little bit because we go to the Overeaters Anonymous meeting and somebody's talking about how they just got gastric and how they lost, seeing 30 pounds have come off or whatnot. And this was like I think it was a bigger conversation when we were shooting the show.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people deciding it, and they were deciding whether or not it was safe for them or weighing the consequences of the possibilities of bad things that could happen versus what the good things were, et cetera. Because it's
several
consideration.
public figures
surgery.
were getting it.
Yeah. So this comes up in there, and that seed gets planted in that class, and you see her just listening, and just sort of, and as I'm watching her listening, I'm like, my sister's not in a good place. Like that's like I was just like, as Rand, I was like, she's not in a good place right now. So when she comes to sit down with you at the dinner, and happy-go-lucky Toby is, he's living his best life, and doesn't know, and she's just like, I don't think I can do this anymore, or she says when I go, I don't think I should bring you home with me.
Don't come.
And it's interesting. Like I didn't think I could fall. I told you I couldn't fall in love with a fat person. That's one of the bars that she drops. Yeah. And you drop back, but you did. Mm-hmm. You fell in love with me, right? So now what do you do with that? And God, if you just saw, you saw it all happening, like at the same time, like I love you and it wasn't a but, it was a love you and I don't know if I can become the person that I want to if I stay here. I just went home and I smashed, was it donuts that she wound up killing or whatnot? Yeah. And it's just sort of like, I'm trying to find my North Star, but I've attached myself to someone who has a different sort of North Star.
Yeah. It's one of the first, not one of the first, I think it's happened earlier in earlier episodes, but it is a trend in our show to deliver like brutal honesty with the most love and compassion that a character can muster. And it happens a lot. And it happens a lot in this episode and the next episode where I was just amazed at like the brutality is such a violent word, but like the rigorous honesty
uncut.
that is also delivered by the performer, Chrissy Yu, with so much love in their face, which makes it hurt more.
Yeah. So then we'll continue with Sister. Sister leaves you, and we don't know what's going to happen with Katobi. Everybody's already shipped them. I've shipped them. I don't know how everybody. I've shipped them. I like my brother-in-law. Tobias is a good dude. She gets on the plane, and this was a moment for me of real sort of like checking oneself. Cause I'm gonna be honest. I've had a feeling like when I'm sitting on the plane and a big person sits next to me, of like, oh, I don't get whatever, the armrest, whatever. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, right? And I never, until this moment, thought about what the F they go through having to get on that plane and knowing that everybody's doing that ish, right? And it caught me. And I was like, oh, Brown, you can be fucking better. Yeah. Right? And you see her come and be like, don't worry, I bought both of these seats. Yeah. Right? Like just before you even like have anything to say about it, you don't have to worry about me rubbing up against you or anything because I got... Yeah. And I was like, fuck. You got me.
Yeah.
Got me, man. I
Yeah.
ain't.
It's a real consideration. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the flight attendant comes up and is like, here's your seatbelt extender. And you could just tell that Kate is like,
She's
got
like,
it.
"Please."
Like, I got,
Yeah.
this is
The
my.
less attention I can draw to any of this, I just want to get to where I'm going.
Sure.
Just like everybody else,
Yes.
without making a scene and be on my way. Right.
Right.
Correct.
I mean, it's the separation that we walk through life with, right?
Yeah.
As we separate ourselves from people, in some ways to keep ourselves safe or to keep ourselves, moving through the world.
Yeah.
Until all of that gets broken down by a uniting experience.
Yeah.
Which is this moment of turbulence.
Yes.
Right? An excellent metaphor for
sure.
a uniting experience, whether it's a pandemic or 9/11 or whatever the thing is that brings people together regardless. And she finds herself after this turbulence holding hands with this woman unexpectedly.
Yep.
It's a moment of all the walls coming down, right? For both of them.
Yeah.
A moment of acceptance, forgiveness, but also it really hit me like these seize again. It's probably the place I am currently in my life, but these seize the day moments don't normally hit me as hard as this one.
I got you.
I was like,
we're gonna talk off camera.
You're right. This is us.
We'll break this down at lunch. Chris.
Seize the day.
It's also, I don't know if you guys have had this, but I know I've had something about a total stranger that you can just tell them. You can tell them the deepest, but you can't tell like the people who are closest to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The plane, train, whatever it is, the situation,
That's
and you're
right.
just like, oh, I'm never gonna see you
this
again.
person again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it all out.
Yeah,
You know
the
what I'm saying?
stakes don't
I've
feel
been
as
in this
high.
dude. He's been cheating on me this whole time. I'm getting a divorce.
Yeah.
I'm just like, thanks for helping me.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me say that to someone. I haven't said that out loud before.
Yeah.
That's what you got from hearing that woman's like proclamation on the plane.
Yeah.
And obviously you see the wheels turning in Kate's head as well. Like, well, what do I need to do with my life?
Yes. To which she finally makes it to Jersey for for Thanksgiving. She comes and just
Walk
like
right in the door.
didn't know what she walked into. As
Announcement.
I'm getting gastric bypass, right?
She doesn't realize the moment she interrupted.
I thought this moment, this reveal was so well written and so well executed because I forgot the reveal was coming. Like they set up your character in such a way that like, no, we do these things and that even when Beth says you're going to drive how far to get these tapes,
Right.
that I was like, no, but of course Randall's
That's
gonna do
Randall.
that. That's Randall. Like,
Yes,
and
it's potentially William's last Thanksgiving, and
Thanksgiving.
his son is going to do whatever it takes to make it as comfortable as possible for him.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, there's nothing about this premise that bumps me in any way.
Right. And then you go and you find
We find a letter. But I want to go back. I find
Okay.
a letter, but we're gonna go back. Because the opening montage of Randall's to You Can Call Me Out is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Because I would ask first, I was like, can you guys play the song a couple times? Like, I know you're not going to play it on the day, but I want to hear it. Just see if I can get the rhythm.
Da, da, da. Yeah,
I
totally.
just wanted to get that rhythm in there. You know what
you
I'm saying?
felt it though.
Felt that shit so deeply. And I just loved annoying the hell out of everybody to wake them up. Not because he's trying to annoy them. He's like, I'm so excited, guys.
Yeah.
T-minus 9 minutes.
Yeah.
T-minus 8 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to do this. Jumping on Kevin.
I was like, I really wish I were a fly on the wall for that.
That's what I used to do to my brother on Christmas morning.
Did you
Which is
really?
why I think it feels like Christmas.
Yes.
And it's Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving. It's Randall's Christmas.
Yeah.
Is Thanksgiving, right? He goes through all this. Everybody's up and excited. He's down there. He's getting the bird ready. William comes in to help out, but he's a little tired. He's like, William, you sit down. You relax. Everything's going to be fun. And then his brother's there. And I love that like I had to do a couple with the English accent, and I had somebody tell me, he's like, well, maybe not with the English accent. I was like, no, you should use the like, trust me. Like, he's giving a bad English accent,
Yeah.
which makes it even better.
It
You know what
works.
I'm saying? And then the reaction that I get out of Justin is he turns around and is like, hey, man, don't do none of your Randall stuff. Like, please. He's like, are you scared?
when they were doing his stuff?
Are you worried about what's going to happen? You think I'm going to take your woman? make me very happy.
Thanksgiving dad's a hot dad.
Thanksgiving dad is a hot dad.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It makes me very excited. And it's the juxtaposition, which I've enjoyed so much in the writing, that he got to go so high.
Right.
And I think that's the thing about the show is that like you're with us on the highs. So when we pull that rug out,
Man.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So we go on. Kev brings Olivia comes to the house. Shout out to Janet Montgomery, because I just want to say real quick, like she plays someone who's not likable, but she plays it very well, and there's layers to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just like really appreciate how it goes. But we'll get to that with Kevin's thing. We go on a hike. Everybody's hiking. We have different side conversations. William's taking another little break. This is when we find out, he's like, how long is this hike? He goes, it's 3.4 miles, what have you. He's so excited to have like his biological dad and his mom in the same room, and it's all just so exciting and exhilarating. He finds out about these tapes. He's like, last, Thanksgiving, we just, all my sober friends get together because we've sort of not attached to our family, so we become a family of our own. We have a little jam session, and we record the tapes for posterity. And last year, I just listened to the tapes, and it was cool. And, Randall's like, I'm going to go get these daggone tapes, man.
Yeah.
We finish the hike, come home. He tells Beth, she's like, why are you going to leave? And he's like, it may be his last one. He goes to Philly. He finds the tapes. He's very excited. Opens up this drawer. He sees a letter. And it was interesting because I was like, why are you snooping through this letter, Randall? Why are you looking at it? You know that letter's not for you. But he recognized the handwriting.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, and I'm going to tell you guys something. This was a weird feeling as a person watching me as the actor and the character. And I was like, I was watching me saying, he's not happy. Like, and I got very sort of like tense watching it. Right? Because you could tell it was just darkness. Like, and you're not used to Randall being a dark cloud.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Randall is the dude who brings like buoyancy to
Sure.
things. And so like to see him sort of brooding, that's a Jack move. Jack will brood.
Yeah.
Randall doesn't really brood. And so
Yeah.
to see him just like not having any of it. So sitting at the table, mom starts off the yarn, and she says the same thing every year, which first came from Jack from back in the day, and it's sweet and loving. And she throws me the yarn. I was like, I don't want to. And then Beth's like, hey, girls, maybe you should go upstairs.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a...
Things are about to be said.
Yeah.
It's about to go down. And like the way it gets broached, he just pulls out the picture and he says, why is there a picture of me in William's house that was sent from you, right? And Mandy, like it's all Mandy Moore, and she's just like, oh, I was gonna tell you, so let's back up real quick because Beth, as soon as she walks into the house, is like, look, I don't know how things work in your marriage, but in my marriage, we don't keep secrets. And you're like, I'm gonna tell him when it's the right time. I'm not going to do that to him on Thanksgiving because this is his day, right? And both arguments are valid, completely valid. Like I wouldn't necessarily have dropped it today, but Beth was like, all right now, because she said she's going to say it tonight possibly if you didn't.
Yeah.
Right? Turns out
Clock is ticking.
that got taken out of either one of them.
That's right.
Truly.
That's right.
I will never forget filming this scene.
Yeah.
It was such a complicated episode. We were still on the precipice of introducing this version of the character present day.
Yeah.
And it's so wholly intimidating. I think this was the first kind of like the first real time that we were all together. It was like a large group present day. John is there. I mean, it's like it's a holiday. It was a big deal. And I just remember like watching that scene back now. I'm like, I could feel the same sort of like not being like my heart just racing.
Yeah.
And not being able to catch my breath and feeling like I was sort of on edge because I mean, this is a deeper conversation that I feel like kind of bleeds into 109, but like the secret that this woman kept for 36 years, never told her husband before he passed. Like no one knew but the two of them, right? Rebecca and William.
Yeah.
And the idea that like she probably just at some point started living her life thinking, this is a secret that I will hold myself and he will hold, but when will our paths ever cross?
Right.
Like, there's no way we're ever going to see each other again.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is something I will die, I will go to my grave with. So the prospect of this boat being rocked in this way, like, I can't imagine the edge that this woman was living on for these past several
36
weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, for these weeks. Yeah,
Knowing,
exactly.
like, oh, this is like eventually like the dam will break. Like,
Right.
I have to tell him this is just too weird.
Right. She'd probably let her guard down a considerable amount
Yes.
leading up to this. Like
Yeah.
thinking,
Yes.
okay, we're all adults now. Like, this is not, you probably don't even know if William couldn't still be alive.
Oh, correct.
You know, like,
yes.
yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard as an actor to disagree with what a character is choosing to do.
Sure.
And I had a very hard time with this, truthfully.
Yeah.
I just vehemently like disagreed with how Rebecca handled this.
Sure.
I can understand, and that's how I was able to find my way into it. I wouldn't have made that same choice.
Yeah.
So having to separate myself from the character was always, and again, that kind of bleeds more into 109, was something that I had to contend with.
I want to talk more about that actually as actors.
Go.
But I will say, a quick side note, that I'm with you at the beginning of 108. I disagreed. And by the end of
109, you felt different.
I felt different.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I
for
was
sure.
actually moved. Like I was
Same,
actually like,
same.
oh,
Yeah.
like the fear. It was the fear that moved me.
Yeah.
And
We'll get into
but as actors,
lots of thoughts.
but as actors, that is an interesting thing to talk about. It's a little,
I'll talk about
insular,
that.
but like I gotta say, I have spent 30 to 40% of my career playing like vile white supremacist
Jeez.
like characters.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6'5", bearded,
Gotcha.
shaved head.
Gotcha.
You know, like vile.
We know what you'd be good at.
Come in.
Wait, Sully.
Yeah.
That's who we need. Oh,
But
man.
to put yourself, like my first big acting job was playing Milam, the murderer of Emmett Till.
Oh, wow.
Like on stage, like crazy things like that. But to have to like put yourself into that character and to understand that the character doesn't disagree with himself.
No.
The character thinks that everything.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's conflict, internal conflict, but it can be a really hard thing to do, and to accomplish what you accomplished, knowing that there's that conflict, not only within the character, but within you as the actor. It's just, it's really something to watch.
I think one lends itself to the other with regards to Mandy, Rebecca in this particular moment, because she was conflicted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course, yes. It wasn't cut and dry.
Yeah. I think those sort of things are sort of like symbiotic in that way. Because to what you're saying, Chris, and I think we all know this, I'm just saying it because it's an interesting conversation, like, it is nice to like your character. It is not necessary to like your character or their choices. What is necessary is that you understand why they make the choices that they make.
And the show always did a very good job, especially in the next episode, of illuminating why she would have made this particular
not
choice.
putting the onus on you as a performer to explain this to
or
the audience.
the audience
Sure.
just
They
to
gave
like
you good
accept
reason.
it. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So that scene, it ends with him, with Randall sort of being like, this is something that you've kept from me my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
If you had not kept this from me, like, maybe I could have had a chance to have a relationship that now is going to be fleeting because my man has terminal cancer, right? And he said, I can't even look at you.
Yeah.
Ooh, Sterling, I'll never forget when you went, stop.
Yeah. Oh,
Stop. With the hand.
that was the first time we saw that character do that.
It's burned in my conscious of like filming that scene. It was just, there was no choice. There was nowhere to go. It's like you were so ultimately in control of that moment and what happened from there. And I think as a parent, like, it was just really sobering.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I don't like watching it. I don't like watching Randall be mad at Rebecca.
Well,
I love my
and
mama so much.
but in that kind of pain too.
Yes.
That's what was just like,
Just unquestionable. Just yes, you're like I as a parent like watching it. You're like what can I do to rectify this situation? And there's just nothing. Not in that moment.
We'll be right back with more That Was Us.
Summer means two things in my household: the 2024 Summer Olympics and hydration.
I'm very excited about the Olympics.
Gang, I'm excited about the Olympics, and it's hot outside right now. This summer is going to be a hot one. Hydration is going to be incredibly
Did you know that there's
important.
going to be breakdancing this summer?
What?
Are you
In
serious?
the
As an
Summer
event.
Olympics?
Yeah, you guys get ready.
It's going to
That's
be
a new
flag
event?
football,
Breakdancing.
too. And there's a lot going on. Listen, with the Summer Olympics in full swing, hydration is key for athletes and fans. And for that, it's time to turn to Liquid IV, your summer hydration go-to for physical endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being.
What are you guys going to be doing outside this summer where you're going to need that extra hydration?
I got kids who play soccer all
Wow.
around, flag football, basketball. Like, I'm constantly outside with them, helping to coach them, cheering them
Yeah.
on. Like, you can dry out really fast if you're
yeah.
not careful.
Liquid IV was one of the products that I asked to advertise for when we started this.
Yes.
Because I had used their product so many times. We were doing press for a film at a high elevation, and the cast was kind of getting sick, like the altitude sickness, the dehydration. And I literally pulled like 5 packets of Liquid IV out of my bag and handed them out. And we soared to
Can
excellence.
I tell you
Good man.
guys, in the first bouts of nausea in my first trimester, very hard to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Liquid IV was the only thing. I am being completely
Really?
serious. It was hard to drink water, and so I had to find a way to sort of like add something to my water that made me
Yeah.
excited to drink it.
We're not going to say that Liquid IV saved your pregnancy, but we're going to say that it helped a lot.
It helped
There
a
you go.
lot. It kept me hydrated when I most clearly would have been dehydrated.
Excellent.
Yeah, so Liquid IV has so many great sugar-free flavor options too. Hydration Multiplier Cotton Candy is back for the summer. I
okay.
did not know that. Plus, you can always grab a packet of white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, lemon lime, one of my favorites. Just grab the Liquid IV packet of your choice, tear it open, get more hydration than just drinking water alone.
With 8 vitamins and nutrients in each pack and 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks, there's a reason Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America.
Let's go. Turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code TWU at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code TWU at liquidiv.com. That's enough of that, right? Let's talk about Kevin.
And Miguel.
I want to try to
And
make
Miguel, this
And
was
Miguel.
I was like, wow, okay, so now we're laying the groundwork for just how deeply he disregards Miguel
Yeah.
and what an afterthought he is in his life.
He said, like, even like in their first conversation between Randall and Kevin is like, yeah, they're coming over, right?
Miguel.
He's like, what about Miguel? I was like, dude, he's not.
He's our stepdad, not ISIS.
Yeah.
if that's not a
Yeah, exactly.
A
If that's not
reference to the time.
2016 for you, I don't know what is.
not ISIS.
Not ISIS. So, okay, Kev is gonna be with his family for Thanksgiving. He's doing the play with Olivia. She says she goes to some bar, has like whiskey or what have you. And he's like, you should come hang out with my family. She's like, I don't want to be around the milquetoast people that created you. He's like, oh.
Let me break it down.
He's like, you want to know about my family?
Yeah.
He's like, I got a plus size twin who's still working on like her habits. I got an adopted black brother who just met his biological father who's like died of cancer. He's like, my mom is married to my dad's best friend. She's like, you think we're boring?
Yeah.
Like you have no idea. And she's like, you can see her be like,
Oh.
this sounds interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
An
saying?
experiment.
So she decides to come home for Thanksgiving. And at this point, they knocked boots one time after they went to the wake,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So after that
Yes, the
situation.
memorial, yep.
So there's sort of like, are they together? Are they not together? What have you. There is, what is it? She wants to leave. Why at a certain point?
Because it gets too intimate.
Yeah, too real.
It gets too real because Kevin Kevin regards her. He's listening, and he brings her that.
Right, that's
The piece of
right.
pie.
Brought
piece
her
of
the
pie.
piece of pie.
And
because
William's
she never
watching
made
this.
it to the pie.
Yeah, William's
Right.
watching this.
And so William goes sitting outside getting a
But the
little
pie
bit of
moment
fresh
is
air.
also when Miguel pops in.
Miguel pops in.
And it's like, hey, pardon me. Do you mind? So, excuse me. I know that you guys. It's so
just
so
wondering
sweet,
if
and I'm just wondering if
I could wear
this
the
year if I could wear the Pilgrim Rick hat.
You want to wear the hat? That's fine.
And Kevin's response is a lot of things, but he literally says, "No dice," like the lack of consideration for Miguel's feelings.
And
Like,
he was like, "Can
yeah,
you
buddy.
believe this guy?
Yeah.
I was gonna wear the hat."
Yeah. And that's another interesting shift because when Miguel asks, I'm still on the team of like, well, it's the Pearson tradition. So, I mean, Kevin probably didn't handle it the best, but he's probably right.
Here's the thing, too. At this point in time in the history of our show, Miguel is persona non grata.
Yes.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
by public perception,
Yeah.
they're like,
They don't have
we
enough
don't
information.
F with this dude.
If they could just flash forward
If
to
they could
that
just
Miguel
flash forward.
episode in season 6.
And we'll have him because I'm curious. I want to ask him what that was like. Like if that's
Yeah.
something that he felt,
Yeah.
or if not. We'll get to that later.
I mean,
You can't help but.
You know John.
I do know John.
If anybody was able to brush that off, it was him. But yes. Well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
So this fantastic conversation between William and Olivia happens outside.
Yeah.
And she asks the actory of actoriest questions. Completely inappropriate.
So inappropriate.
But as an actor, I kind of be like, if I had like more of a relationship with the person, I could have seen myself asking this question. But I don't think I would have just been like,
But it also goes back to what you mean about like they have no relationship.
yeah,
And
It's a stranger.
And
Yeah.
her
in all essence.
brokenness
Right.
for all of its detriments actually nobody asks dying people this question because they don't want to know.
sure.
But it's actually it's surprising it inappropriate socially, but also like very considerate.
Yeah.
To be like,
Yeah.
how does it feel?
Huh.
How are you feeling? Like I know you're sick and I know
Sure.
how does it feel to be dying?
Yeah, Olivia to William, how does it feel to be dying? And he responds, it feels like all these beautiful pieces of life are flying all around me and I'm trying to catch them. The pieces are moving faster now and I can't catch them all. I can feel them slipping through my fingertips. I know it feels like you have all the time in the world, but you don't. So stop playing it so cool. Catch the moments of your life. Catch them while you're young and quick because sooner than you know it, you'll be old and slow and there will be no more of them to catch. And when a nice boy who adores you offers you pie, say thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really get the sense that he had a profound understanding of what he was saying.
Yeah. I thought that too.
And because he's not with us anymore, the
Yeah.
beautiful human being that he is, it's just like, wow.
I thought that when we were watching the hike part of the episode,
Yeah.
because I very viscerally remember it being a physically taxing
Very.
Actual-
exercise,
yeah.
physically taxing for the human Ron
Yeah.
because he was suffering.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for him to breathe. And I remember like him sitting was scripted, but also because he
Necessary.
genuinely needed to do
Necessary.
that.
Yeah.
It really brought home knowing what was actually happening in real time in those moments while we were shooting this show and this season. You're right that Ron just had this intrinsic connection to what his character was going through, and it makes
Yeah.
it all the more poignant.
It does indeed.
But that is such a beautiful sentiment, and I guess just like continuing in the fashion of what the show has sort of already laid the groundwork for, of these just like these pullable quotes of like, wow, this is instructions on how to live.
Yeah.
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 Seize that Mickey Ficky moment, man. Like hold on to it. And so it inspires, like when they go and the kiss that comes after it off of it, I was like, that's a kiss. I was like,
real
okay.
kiss.
We
Yeah.
lip locked up in this joint. I was like, yeah, I felt that. You know what I mean? Which is so interesting because it's like, when we come to the next episode, it's almost like she like exposed herself so much that she just went all the way back in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, that was too much. I showed too much, right?
Yeah.
Kev, then he's got the kiss. Next thing we know, he's got the Pilgrim Rick hat on. And he's gonna come perform for his sisters. And I love it. Like a true actor, he's like, I'm not gonna overplay it. You know, he's like, Dad may have done it this way. Like, hey guys, Pilgrim Rick. He's like, less is more sort of thing. And then he checks and sees Miguel in the background. And he's like, you know what, man, I just had one of the best kisses of my life. This is what's happening in the back of his head. He's like,
I don't need this hat.
Feeling a little generous.
I can let you wear this hat for a second. And Miguel is so touched.
The look on his face got me. Like this was the moment in this episode where I was like, like
he was so touched.
Yeah, it was an amazing little. It's just small moments like that where a performer like John takes this thing, and you see an entire world happen in moments.
Absolutely. What I'm left with this Thanksgiving episode is like, we build traditions. We see how important traditions are to this family. We see what they're born out of. Like, you know, we see Jack sort of taking the lemon and making the lemonade and turning it into something beautiful. And then it comes full circle because now the thing that is beautiful, that has been upheld by his son to like make sure that it continues to be so, has now once again been somewhat tainted by the fact that he feels betrayed.
Yeah.
Right? Like there is something, a secret that has been kept from him his entire life from the person that he probably trusts the most.
Than anybody.
Yeah.
And we're left with that.
A reckoning is coming.
A reckoning is coming. We still don't know what's happening with Toby over here.
Yeah. Chris Sullivan sitting in his apartment wondering.
Twiddling his thumb.
He's like calling his agent, like, do I need to start auditioning for other things here?
Texting the captain. That was a great episode, you guys.
Have we gotten 109 yet?
I really like it. Has anyone seen 110 or anything?
Little did you know.
There's more to come. There's more to come. The first, like the tension between these two, because I think Beth has had to carry this tension of knowing this secret now.
Yeah.
And now that it's out, like, what does that mean in terms of that relationship? Really wishing Kev the best. Things look like they're going to go good with Olivia or what have you. And then we're wondering about sister and whether or not she's going to take on this surgery or not. Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's 108.
That was 108.
Tell them about how they can reach out to us.
Well, listen, we still want to hear from you.
Yes!
We want to talk to you guys. We want to hear all of your stories and the way that you've connected with the show. So we have an emotional support hotline. Mandy, what's that phone number?
That phone number is 412-501-3028.
Yeah.
And Sterling, please tell me. We also have an email that people can send their stories.
We do have an email. We'd love to hear your stories. Please hit us up at thatwasuspod@gmail.com.
Were you about to say AOL?
I almost said it.
Wow.
thatwasuspod@gmail.com. Send us your emails with all of your stories, the way you connected with the show.
We want to hear from everyone.
We would love to connect with you. Speaking of connection, should we connect with some fans?
Let's connect with some fans. Always a pleasure, Amanda Lee Moore.
Likewise.
Christopher Sullivan.
Sterling K. Brown.
All of our producers who remain unseen but so important. We appreciate and love you all, as do we, our fans.
For this episode's fan segment, we asked our parent listeners out there to tell us about a time that they were maybe in over their heads. And we covered a lot of that, I believe, in today's episode.
Sure did.
Yeah. Rebecca especially, I think, was in over her head.
There's a lot.
A lot going on.
You had 3 kids at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to make everything perfect for Thanksgiving. She's trying to get, her kids to her parents' house, make it perfect for them, but trying to do everything for everyone.
The kids are fighting. Cranberry sauce ends up on the floor. I mean, it's a hot mess.
And it's too long of a drive. First of all, let's talk about this. 6 hours.
6 hours.
Makes no sense.
Where do they live? Where do they live?
They live in Bethel Park.
They live in Bethel Park.
Yeah, outside of Pittsburgh.
And yet, at the end of the day, all of these calamitous, tire blowing out, long hike, ending up in Pilgrim Rick's hotel, creates beautiful memories and lifelong traditions.
It's true.
So, for this episode's fan segment, we asked our parent listeners to tell us about a time that they realized they were maybe in over their head and to share any words of wisdom for all of us. So, here is what some of them shared.
Okay, I'm good. I need all of this.
Start it off, Saul.
This is from Colin, all the way from Belfast in Northern Ireland. My wife went out for the afternoon for the first time since our son was born, and I was at home alone with a newborn and a 2.5-year-old. He threw up everywhere while I was changing him, and my daughter whacked her head and was screaming. I felt completely stressed and overwhelmed. Then it passed, and we got through. I've learned to ignore the wave of the feeling of overwhelm because you get through. It passes, and peace and calm returns.
This too shall pass, bruh.
That's true.
The good and the bad.
Yeah, all the good and the bad. Look, I don't think you're fully initiated into parenthood until you've had some other part of fluid from your child land on your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Be it vomit, be it poop, be it
Urine.
pee.
Yeah.
I can remember holding the kid. Ryan went into the store to go grocery shopping. Me and Andrew were hanging out. And I was like, oh, his diaper got full. There were no extra diapers. So I was just like, all right, we'll just wait till we get home. And then like he went again. And then it started to come down. And I was like, just sitting there and it's on there. And I was like, this will never happen. Before you have kids, like, this will never happen. I'm not going to let anybody just deuce on me. And then all of a sudden, you got deuce.
Yeah. Last week I had throw up on me on 2 separate occasions. The same day.
The same day.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Let's see what Brittany has to say in terms of her advice. Brittany says, and I like this, it's okay to not be okay. Take a step back, take a break, walk away. You can't parent effectively if you're not in the right headspace. Come on now, Brittany.
Absolutely.
You know what
I
I'm
feel like
saying?
I remember that on a daily basis.
You know?
Right.
Because it is very easy to be reactionary as a parent instead of responsive. A response you get to choose. A reaction is involuntary.
Yes.
Take that breath, everybody.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Rachel and I call it the tap out.
Yeah.
I literally
Tapping out?
I look at her and I go, I'm tapping out. and she slides in, takes over whatever situation,
sir.
Gosh.
and I'll be back in 20.
It's nice when there's 2 in the house.
So
Come on.
Desi says,
Yes.
I decided to let my 1-year-old and 5-month-old and my 2-year-old and 9-month-old help make breakfast. Oh my goodness. Wasn't long before pancake mix was in their hair, on their faces, all over the floor. I've learned to step back and embrace the chaos. Wow. Those hysterical laughs live on forever in my heart. That is some
That is
dynamite
amazing.
perspective.
So,
That
think-
is the Randall in me, by the way, like loves order.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't know if I can have little kids running around in my kitchen,
Yeah.
but God bless you, Dad.
Pancake
We
mix
should clarify,
everywhere.
that's just 2 kids, right?
3 kids. It's a 1 year and 5-month-old.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
And
I'm
my,
sorry.
no,
You're
it's just 2
9-month-old.
kids.
No,
Okay.
just 2 kids.
It's just 2 kids.
Sorry.
Because
Let me-
I don't think that's genuinely
me-
possible
No,
to have
it's
a
possible to have a
1-year-old,
one-year-old
a
and a
5-month-old.
five-month-old.
I don't understand how this is happening.
But this is
That is
but
sorry.
She's not counting by months, right? It's
I-
important to
listen.
count by months. When
I am specific when it
Yeah.
comes to the age of my children too, but let me
Right.
rephrase that.
She has a
So let me read this
17-month-old.
again. So
Yes.
decided to let my 1-year, 5-month-old
Yes.
and my 2-year and 9-month-old
There we go.
yes,
help make breakfast.
yes.
We thought there was 4.
It was way more chaotic.
Crawling around,
Yeah.
just doing this.
The way it's written, 1-year and
Yeah.
5-month-old
Yeah.
and my 2-year.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Not at all. It's all
Oh,
good.
wow.
Yeah,
But look,
sometimes you
These
just have to lean
hysterical
in.
laughs will
Yeah.
live on forever too, and my mistake.
Sometimes you got to lean into the mess.
Yes, ma'am.
And just let it be
Yes,
messy.
sir.
I appreciate
Who's
that.
next?
All right, Ashley
Ashley.
wrote, all of the newborn phase
Oof.
was something that got her in over her head.
Yeah.
It's okay to not love it. It gets better.
Yes.
I'm a pediatric physician assistant and work with new moms every day. It helps to know you're not alone and your feelings are valid.
That is so incredibly important
It
to
is.
highlight.
It is. I think, especially for moms and the idea that like you're supposed to be instantaneously in love,
Yeah.
head over heels completely, and that's the only thing that you're like allowed
And
to
know
feel.
exactly
Yeah,
what to do.
Exactly. That's the only space you're allowed.
Right. Like you're allowed that and everything else.
Yeah.
Right? Because it is, I always try to break this down because people sort of like, they like to talk about, so when are you going to have a kid? And are you excited? And da-da-da, welcome to the club. And it's a great club. It's an awesome club. It's the hard club.
As soon as you join, there are no other members.
Hard
It's only you.
As soon as you join the club, everyone disappears.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gone.
You're like, I used to have friends. I used to have friends. And now I'm alone in this house.
Yeah.
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 It's
I
real.
feel that.
So like, I appreciate that sentiment very, very much. Thank you,
Yes.
Ashley. Jennifer, this is what she has to say. As a parent, I realized I was in over my head when I went through a divorce and was suddenly on my own as a mom of 2 boys. My dad had recently been diagnosed with dementia, and my mom was overwhelmed as his primary caregiver, so I suddenly couldn't lean on them either, and they suddenly needed me too. It was a whole new reality, completely foreign, that I had to navigate, and it was overwhelming. I don't know about words of wisdom, but I would say I navigated through it 4 years later by just staying the course and taking it day by day, sometimes moment by moment. One task at a time, one foot in front of the other. Like that saying about taking the first step, even if you can't see the whole staircase. That is an MLK quote that she's saying, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Listen, that's a bar.
Yeah.
When you think about the totality of things that need to be accomplished, sometimes in a given day, like sometimes I feel like when I try to look at the whole elephant, I'm like, I can't put that in my mouth.
Yeah.
Right? You got to take it piece by piece. You
Yeah.
got to take it moment by moment and trust that the next moment will be there. And then when you get to that moment, you'll know what to do.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, life, period. That shit.
No matter the
can-
circumstances. Yeah. Because everyone's going to have different circumstances. But
Yes.
certainly, yes. That is incredible advice.
Yes. Thank you, Jennifer.
Beth, a twin mum from the UK, says when the sonographer said there are 2 in there, not quite a big 3, but still a shock. Words of wisdom, repeat the mantra. It's just a phase each time a new hurdle appears.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
good, the bad, everything in
Good
between.
phases.
Yeah, totally. It's like you can't sort of get nothing is set in stone.
Yeah.
You can't get used to any one thing because before you know it, it's going to change. Everyone's sleeping fantastically
Yeah.
and then someone's going through a sleep regression or potty training or something.
Parenting seems to be the ultimate Buddhist exercise in non-attachment.
Yeah. And trying to stay present.
Yeah.
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 The
And
only
trying to
thing.
keep hummus off your shirt.
Oh, and
too.
It's not gonna happen.
Don't forget the deuce, Jack.
It's not-
Don't forget the deuce. I'm just saying. It's real.
This is Sterling Brown reminding you, don't forget the deuce.
Thank you guys for your advice,
Yeah.
for sharing moments of being overwhelmed and ways of making it through it. Deeply appreciate your perspective.
It's
and I will
helpful to
take it.
everyone,
To everyone,
including
yeah,
us.
including us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Much
certain lessons you
appreciated.
can learn over and over again.
And also, if you have a friend with a new child, reach out.
Bruh.
They long to hear
Come
from
on,
you.
Yes.
man.
Don't forget about them.
Yes.
They need
Amen.
you.
All right. That's it for this fan segment. Appreciate you guys. That Was Us is filmed at The Crow and produced by Rabbit Grin Productions and Sarah Wareheim. Music by Taylor Goldsmith and Griffin Goldsmith.